is the emotional residue left behind from experiences that were never healed or expressed. Things like abandonment, war, racism, poverty, or heartbreak that shaped how our ancestors related to safety, trust, and love. Those experiences don't just disappear, they live in the body, in the nervous system, and even in our DNA. Studies in epigenetics show that trauma can literally alter gene expression. If your lineage carried shame, silence, or loss, you may feel the weight of emotions that were never truly yours to carry. But here's the hope: awareness gives you the power to release it. You are not doomed to repeat your family's stories. You are here to rewrite it.
Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Good day, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Break the Cycles podcast, hosted by me, Alicia Cherie. So, today we're going to talk about why you feel stuck, understanding toxic patterns and generational cycles. So, let's get into it. If you ever felt like you keep dating the same person, lash out on the same things, or just find yourself replaying the same struggles, this episode is for you. And today, the goal here is to build awareness of unconscious cycles and position yourself as a trusted guide. Hey, soul sister. Before we dive in, make sure you followed and subscribed to this podcast so you never miss the next drop of healing energy. Also, if something in this episode speaks to your spirit, share it with a friend, a sister, or anyone who's walking their own healing journey. Because together, we're not just healing, we're evolving, expanding, and reclaiming our power. Now, let's get into today's episode. So, let's identify toxic patterns. Let's take a deep breath because this is going to get deep, y'all. Let's talk about the patterns that keep us stuck, the ones that play out again and again, no matter how much healing work we think we've done. Because awareness is the first step to transformation. You can't change what you can't see. So, what are the signs you're stuck in cycles? Well, toxic patterns aren't always loud. Sometimes they're the quiet habits that have become part of our identity, ways we've learned to survive, to stay safe, to be loved. They might look like constantly overgiving in relationships and feeling empty in return. Haven't we all been there before? Or attracting partners or friendships that drain your energy or make you question your worth. Saying yes when every part of you wants to say no, and feeling responsible for everyone's emotions but your own. Did any of that resonate with you? Has that been you before? I call it the emotional deja vu, like that sense of, here I am again, even though the faces or places may have changed. Our triggers are not the enemy, they are messengers. Every time something or someone pushes a button in you, that's your nervous system saying, there's an unhealed story here. But for a lot of people, we connect triggers to anger, to frustration. And that's why we think it's an enemy. But you have to pay attention to what consistently pulls you out of your peace. Like, do you feel abandoned when someone takes space? Do you get anxious when things feel too calm? Do you shrink your truth to avoid conflict? These reactions often stem from deeper wounds. The child who had to earn love, the woman who had to prove her worth, the protector who had to stay in control to feel safe. When you can name your triggers without judgment, that's when you take your power back. And for relationship patterns, it's pretty simple. The people we attract often mirror the parts of us that still need healing. You may find yourself drawn to emotionally unavailable partners, controlling friendships, or environments that recreate old family dynamics. Why? Because that's what feels normal to us. And that's not failure, that's feedback. Feedback to you on where you need to focus your healing. Your relationships are teachers. That heartbreak, that pain on why he left you or why he ghosted you, those are all supposed to be lessons, okay? Not like, why did this happen to me? I don't understand. Part of your journey because they show you where you're still giving from emptiness, where you're still chasing validation, or where you're afraid to be fully seen. So that's when the healing begins. When you stop asking, why do they keep doing this to me? And start asking, what is a pattern showing me about myself? In the previous episode, we talked about people pleasing, right? I also call it the illusion of safety because many of us learned early on that being good, being kind, helpful, and selfless was a way to stay loved and safe. But people pleasing is often self abandonment in disguise. And every time you silence your needs to keep the peace, you disconnect from your authentic self. You teach your nervous system people's comfort is more important than your truth. And then over time, that leads to resentment, to exhaustion, and disconnection from your own intuition. But here's the thing, the moment you notice the pattern, you've already started to break it. And that's the beautiful thing about awareness and self reflection. I'm just going to kind of share a story and let me know if this resonates. That's going to kind of tie all these themes up we just kind of went over. I remember meeting a guy who seemed perfect. He was saying all the right things, showing up, consistent with his texts, and part of me really believed maybe this time it's different. How many of us have been there, right? But a few weeks in, I started to notice little things. The way he'd pull away when I tried to go deeper, how I'd suddenly become the one always initiating or always holding the energy together. And I caught myself doing what I'd always done, overthinking every message, replaying conversations in my head, trying to make sure I didn't scare him off, trying to be more patient, more understanding, more easygoing. And then before I knew it, I was walking on eggshells again, trying to protect something that deep down never really felt solid to begin with. And underneath it all was a familiar feeling, that tightness in my chest, that anxious voice whispering, don't be too much, don't lose him. That wasn't love. That was my nervous system replaying an old story. Because as a little girl, I learned to keep the peace, to make myself small, to feel love, to hold everyone else's emotions because no one knew how to hold mine. So when someone started to pull away, my instinct was to fix it, to prove I was worth staying for. And that's not weakness, that's conditioning. It's what I learned, it's what I grew up seeing, it's what I observed my adult figures doing. So every time I attracted the emotionally unavailable partner, every time I became the caretaker in the relationship, it wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was my body showing me what still needed healing. And that realization changed everything because I started to see those patterns not as punishment, but as invitations. Invitations to come home to myself, to love the parts of me that were still chasing safety in someone else instead of feeling safe within me. So if you ever felt that same pattern, the same ache of overgiving, over explaining, and trying to earn love, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You were simply doing what your body was trained to do, seek safety. But now you get to choose a new story, one where you no longer chase peace, you become it. And it's beautiful. The grass is indeed greener when you become the peace. Take a deep breath with me because we're about to go even deeper. This next part goes beyond you, it reaches back generations. So take a deep breath with me. We often think our patterns started with us, but many of them were inherited. They were passed down through family stories, behaviors, and unspoken rules about love, survival, and identity. This is what we call generational cycles, emotional and energetic patterns that run through families until someone becomes conscious enough to break them. From the time we're born, we observe more than we realize. We inherit our family's fears, their coping mechanisms, their beliefs about what's possible, and even what love is supposed to feel like. Maybe you grew up watching your mother overextend herself in relationships, never receiving the same energy back. Maybe you saw your father shut down emotionally or avoid conflict because vulnerability was unsafe. Maybe love was something you had to earn through achievement, perfection, or caretaking. And now, as an adult, those same patterns quietly run the show. You find yourself repeating the same dynamics in your career, your friendships, or your romantic relationships, even when you promised yourself you wouldn't. It's not weakness, it's programming. You learn to survive the way your lineage did. Ancestral trauma is the emotional residue left behind from experiences that were never healed or expressed. Things like abandonment, war, racism, poverty, or heartbreak that shaped how our ancestors related to safety, trust, and love. Those experiences don't just disappear, they live in the body, in the nervous system, and even in our DNA. Studies in epigenetics show that trauma can literally alter gene expression, meaning the body remembers what the mind may never recall. Mm, that's deep. If your grandmother lived in constant survival mode, her body taught her children, and eventually you, what it feels like to always be on alert. If your lineage carried shame, silence, or loss, you may feel the weight of emotions that were never truly yours to carry. But here's the hope: awareness gives you the power to release it. You are not doomed to repeat your family's story. You are here to rewrite it. In energy healing, we say energy never dies, it simply transfers and transforms. When a wound is left unhealed in one generation, it becomes an energetic imprint in the next. That's why you might feel emotions that seem bigger than you or patterns that don't make logical sense. You're not imagining it. You're feeling your lineage through you. Here's the thing: energy can be transmuted. So every time you choose to set a boundary, speak your truth, or honor your worth, you're not just healing yourself, you're healing backwards and forwards through time. You become the cycle breaker, the one who says, "This ends with me right now." You prevent it from going to your children and your children's children, so forth. So, how do we break the cycle? That's exactly the first step, right? You've brought awareness to your patterns. You've connected with your body through movement. You've started understanding how energy, lineage, and emotions all weave together. Now, let's talk about what to do with all of that, because awareness without integration can still keep us stuck in our heads. So, today I want to give you 3 simple, practical ways to start embodying your healing every single day through awareness journaling, nervous system resets, and intuitive boundary setting. Oh, let's start with awareness journaling. Awareness is the bridge between reaction and choice. Journaling helps you bring unconscious patterns into the light so you can understand, not judge them. You don't have to write pages and, like dear diary, dear journal. No, just a few honest reflections a day can shift everything. And here's how. When you feel triggered, pause and ask yourself, what emotion am I really feeling? Where do I feel this in my body? What story is this emotion connected to? Because usually the triggers are connected to something that your 4-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, 14-year-old self once experienced. And that's childhood trauma that has not been healed. That's where the trigger came from. Because that child is still with you if you haven't healed her. And write without censoring yourself. Don't worry about grammar or structure. Just let the truth spill into the page. And then when you're done, end each entry with a grounding affirmation. Something like, I am safe to feel this. This emotion is energy moving through me. I release the need to repeat this pattern. And this process entirely teaches your mind and nervous system to stay curious instead of reactive. The next practical step is nervous system resets. And let me tell you, healing isn't just mental, it's physical. Your nervous system needs proof that it's safe to rest, to express, and to receive love again. So think of your nervous system resets as a small moments throughout your day where you remind your body, I'm safe now. And here's a few you can start with right now, today. Grounding breath. So you inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. And usually you inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Open your mouth. You can even sigh it out. You can make a sound. Like don't think about if you're gonna sound silly. Who cares? Just let it out. Tells your body it's okay to slow down. Another thing, shaking it out. Just gently shake your arms, your legs, your hips for 30 seconds to release build up energy. Like again, who cares what you look like? Like if I had this on video, you guys would probably be laughing at me, but literally just shake your wrists, move your body, like, you know, shake your hips out. It's one of the simplest somatic tools for trauma release. I'm not even joking. You'd be surprised on how impactful that one is. Another one, put your hand on your heart. I usually put one on my heart and my belly because our bellies are sacral chakra. And I pause. Just close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart, one on your belly, and whisper, I am safe. I am here. And I am loved. These resets might seem small. And you're probably like, okay, Alicia, what is that going to do? Like, I'm over here in fight and flight mode. But honestly, they rewire your body's response to stress and build emotional resilience over time. You don't have to take my word for it. Just try it and you'll see the impact it makes. And it literally can take 2 minutes, if even that. Hey, my soul sister. If you've been feeling off lately, maybe drained, stuck, or disconnected from your purpose, I want you to know it's not all in your head. It's in your energy. That's why I created my free chakra healing guide, your simple roadmap to understanding the 7 energy centers in your body and how they shape your emotions, your clarity, and your flow. So, if you're ready to feel balanced, grounded, and in your power again, check the show notes below to download your free chakra healing guide to transform your energy from the inside out. Let's talk a little bit about intuitive boundary settings. Once your awareness grows and your body begins to feel safe, your intuition naturally becomes louder, right? We talked about this. It's part of regulating your nervous system. That's where intuitive boundary setting comes in. And boundaries aren't walls, they're energetic filters. They help you protect your peace and stay aligned with your truth. So start by listening to your body's cues. Our bodies are constantly talking to us, just like our inner voices. Do you feel expanded or contracted around this person or situation? Does your breath feel open or shallow when you say yes? You know, like the yes and the yes. What happens in your body when you think about saying no? What happens? Because usually that's your first instinct may be no all the time, but then you're reactive. You're like, yes, because that's the programming part. Your body always tells you the truth. The question is, are you listening? If something feels off, you don't need to justify your no. Your intuition is your permission slip. So try this affirmation. Repeat it. I honor my body's wisdom. I trust my inner yes, and I respect my sacred no. I'm going to repeat that. I honor my body's wisdom. I trust my inner yes, and I respect my sacred no. Setting boundaries from intuition rather than fear keeps you connected to your authentic self. And it's one of the strongest ways to prevent falling back into old cycles. You can't continue to be the people pleaser, the yes ma'am, yes sir person because you're still taking away from your self-care, your me time, your authentic self. So it's really about regulating your nervous system so you can hear that inner yes or the sacred no. So if any of this resonated with you today, please put in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like. If there's something that I should touch more on, please add that as well. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you know a friend, a relative, or even a coworker that can benefit from this podcast, please share it. I leave it up to you to help me spread this guidance of healing because I know we're not alone in this. And there's a lot of women in these types of situations, and these topics will resonate with them. So the more you share, brings more visibility to this podcast and awareness for us all as a healing community. Thank you for listening today, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.